Hi, my name's John. A year ago, I never even heard of Fruits Basket. That is until my fiancée introduced the anime to me.
And I'm Allie. I've been reading the manga since I was in 3rd grade.
We loved watching season 1 together so much, and we'd have all these crazy long discussions about what happened in each episode.
And for season 2, we thought it would be really fun to share our conversations with you.
So join us today as we talk about season 2, episode 18, Do You Want a Kiss? So if you're a returning listener, then welcome back. If you're a new listener, then we're happy to have you on this week's episode of our Fruits Basket podcast. So if you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it coming from this channel, then make sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. And share it with all of your friends wherever you share things, whether that's on Twitter, Discord, Reddit, or anywhere else. But with all that out of the way, where are we starting?
First of all, I need to know your thoughts, because, I'm in pain.
Okay. So I went into this episode thinking I knew what was going to happen, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, to be fair, if you didn't already know, I showed him the trailer for this second part of the second season, so he kind of had an idea of what this episode held. But you know, those little clips, they just didn't show you everything.
Oh, I knew 2 frames of this episode. Oh my god. I'm sorry about everything I have said about being bored by Reen and just not caring. Because, oh my god, I'm in pain.
Yeah, her story's a doozy. And we're not even done with it. There's more to come.
That's an understatement. But we don't start out that way, and it gave me hope that this wouldn't be the worst episode I'd ever watched. Well, not the worst episode, but the most painful episode I've ever watched.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because we start out with Kisa and Hiro content, and we need more Kisa and Hiro content.
Yes, we do. They're so sweet together. Just talking, walking, discussing the baby. And Hiro is so cute. When he's like, I just want the baby to be healthy.
He is so protective over his mother, too. It's so heartening to see someone have such a good relationship with their parent from the Zodiac. Honestly, Hiro and Reen could not be more opposite.
Right? Also, now that I'm thinking about it, two of the characters that have the best relationships with their parents are also characters that are weirdly disliked. Like Kagura and her mom, they're great. And then Hiro and his mom, they're fantastic. Kisa also has a good relationship with her mom, but it was bumpy for a while. But
yeah.
And Ritsu has a good relationship with his mother. Wow.
Yo, if there's not trauma, they're not a good character.
Apparently, but
facts.
No, I just noticed that just now. But yeah.
No, that does make sense.
So he has a great relationship with his mom, and he's all worried about her. And to be honest, if I saw my mom walking down the stairs in slippers and with her eyes closed while she was pregnant, I would be worried too. But he said, let's keep the frolicking to a minimum.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit worried.
So when we started seeing this scene, I totally thought as Reen was walking by that they were going to hit us with, oh my god, she's pregnant. And I thought that was going to be the dramatic twist of this episode. I do not believe that now.
Yeah, a lot of people thought that.
I was so convinced. I was like, oh my god, they're talking about baby. Reen is looking really upset. She's pregnant. And Haru's the one that did it. But they're not on good terms right now. This is worse than I ever could have imagined. I wish that was the plot now.
Because at least that could have been, a little bit more fixable.
That would have hurt less. So Hiro runs over to her. Apparently she told him, I guess, that she went to Shigure to break the curse. And she was like, nope, it's not happening. And he's shooketh, and she's just keeps going. And I'm like, oh god, they're all, they are all on this. Even the middle schoolers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because if Reen wants to break the curse for Haru's sake so that he's free from his shackles, then it's no wonder why Hiro's like, let's get Kisa out of here. I'd like to protect her too. So Rin and Hiro are similar in that way, where they're just protectors.
Yeah. And then we get context into the Shigure scene.
Yeah, you get even more. They just keep giving you little nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
But I really like the one part where he says, I'll just let the people who care do the dirty work. And he says this before he goes on the summer beach trip. Which, what do you know? Right after this scene happened, he happened to go tell Akito to come to the beach, which may have upset Tohru and may have made her want to break the curse. So he's pretty good at scheming.
Oh my god, he is such a liar.
True.
He is... But this scene tells me, dude's soft. Dude is soft.
How so?
There's no way in my mind that he did not do this specifically to protect Rin, because he knows her situation. And he knows that it'll just get worse if she continues to get involved.
Okay.
And so I think he is very specifically, because I also think he doesn't think that she can be of that much help. And so, A, he's protecting her. B, he's eliminating a chess piece that could prove to not be beneficial in his long term. Because honestly, just to jump forward a little bit, Akito calls her just one to fill out the numbers, right? He loathes her. And I feel like if she continues to get involved, Akito might lose restraint and thin out one of the 12. He almost killed her in that moment too, you know, when he yeeted her out the window.
Okay.
And so I feel like if not all of the Zodiac are present, then they can't break the curse. I think it's very essential that all of them are there and alive at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah, like for some reason, I feel like it's strange that all 12 are alive at the same time.
Yeah, and they mentioned that at the beach arc too. They like threw that little bit in there. Like, we're all alive, so it's nice that Hiro's mom doesn't have to worry about giving birth to a baby Zodiac. And it's like, but why'd they really talk about that?
Yeah, like, it's not like the Avatar where the second the Avatar in Avatar The Last Airbender, the second the Avatar dies, another one is instantly born. I think that they might go like years without a new one being born. So it might be an idiosyncrasy that everyone's alive at this point in time. And so like this is the moment to break the curse. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know if that holds any ground, but that's my theory right now.
I like it. I like your theories. They're always so fun. Okay. So after she's done... I'm not telling you if they're right or wrong, but they are fun. I like hearing
that. Knocked my confidence down a little bit.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
That knocked my confidence a little bit.
Hey, you try and come up with 30 clever ways to say, good idea. I won't tell you if you're right or wrong, though.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay.
Anyways. So then, after Rin is done getting no answers from Shigure, she decides to take it upon herself and look through piles of storage in her very unhealthy state to find some answers. But, you know, she's not doing well, so she gets sick. And why do you think she keeps getting sick? Because at first you thought it was because she was pregnant, but that's... Okay. I mean, that's either not revealed or not true, so...
By this point, I figured out that she is not pregnant, because this is a pure, unadulterated panic attack, I think.
That she keeps getting sick and, like, falling on the floor kind of thing? Like, just...
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what are symptoms of panic attacks? Nausea, dizziness, like, extreme fatigue, like, elevated heart rate, dilating of pupils. Like, she's having panic attacks.
Okay. I could see that. So it's not morning sickness.
No, I don't. I mean, maybe it's both. And so, this is also when she starts flashing back, right?
A little bit, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, she flashes back a little bit here. But it's not until she, like, leaves the warehouse and she gets to Shigure's house.
Yeah, that's when she really nosedives.
She starts dissociating so hard. Like, so hard.
Was that because she saw Tohru and then, like, associated Tohru with her mom?
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
she walked through, like, she was being triggered by every little thing. Like, that, even just that small little scene full on triggered her. And so I think that these somas are so traumatized by so many things. I have the diagnostic and statistical manual right in front of me right now. And I will eat my tongue if she does not have PTSD. Because can I just list off some of the criteria, right? So I'm going to pop this on screen. And the criteria for PTSD are exposure to actual threatened death, serious injury, or sexual violence in one of the following ways, which the way that she experiences it is that she directly experienced the physical violence from her parents, which we find out about when she's in the hospital, and them saying that all of her wounds were places that people couldn't see, which is typically where abuse happens, so that people can't find the signs while she's at school, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Presence of one or more of the following intrusion symptoms associated with the traumatic event. And so, recurrent, involuntary, and intrusive distressing memories of the traumatic event. Dissociative reactions, in which the individual feels or acts like the traumatic event were reoccurring in the moment.
Yep.
Intense or prolonged psychological distress at exposure to internal or external cues that symbolize or resemble an aspect of the external event. So Tohru being in the door was enough.
Mm-hmm.
And marked internal physiological reactions to external stimuli or cues that resemble the traumatic event. So physiological, that could be dizziness, nausea, that could be having something like that resembles a panic attack.
Yeah.
So persistent avoidance of the stimuli. So avoiding the distressing memories or thoughts, which she does, and efforts to avoid people, places, or conversations that arouse these distressing memories. She does that, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. And then negative alterations in cognitions and mood associated with the traumatic event beginning or worsening after the traumatic event occurred, evidenced by two or more of the following. Let's see. Persistent and exaggerated negative beliefs or expectations about oneself, others, or the world.
Sounds like our girl.
Persistent distorted cognitions about the cause or consequences of the traumatic event that lead to the individual blaming themselves.
Oh no.
Persistent negative emotional state, diminished interest or participation in significant activities, feelings of detachment or estrangement from others. We only needed two, by the way, in that section.
Oh my gosh.
Persistent inability to experience positive emotions.
Wow.
Marked alterations in arousal and reactivity associated with the traumatic events, beginning or worsening after the traumatic events occurred, as evidenced by two or more of the following. Irritable behavior and angry outbursts with little or no provocation. Reckless or self-destructive behavior. Exaggerated startle response. Problems with concentration. Sleep disturbance. We only needed two. It has to have lasted for more than a month, and it needs to cause clinically significant distress, which I would say she passes out multiple times due to these stimuli. Just random places. I would call that clinically significant, especially with how intrusive these symptoms are.
Yeah, I buy it. I mean, like, I personally thought that she was suffering from PTSD, but I'm not a person who has ever studied psychology for more than one semester in college. So, you know, what do I know? But hearing it from you and, like, knowing how much you know about all of this stuff, yeah, I'm sold.
Yeah. And I think that she has panic attacks that are associated with the PTSD. It makes so much sense. And it's so tragic. Props to Takaya for illustrating it so well, though. Because
she does.
From the trauma that Rin experienced throughout the course of this show, that would be so intensely impactful on anyone who experienced that life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of, sorry to continue going on this rant. I don't know if anyone cares. But like with her parents, they loved her so much, or appeared to. They were always so happy. They adored her. Up until she was like, how old was she? Like 8? 6?
She was
8?
definitely like elementary or younger. Like she was
Yeah.
not old at all.
But she was old enough to remember them loving her very dearly and being
Yeah.
very kind. And so if growing up, that's all you know is that very positive atmosphere, and then just literally at the turn of a phrase, they completely turn on her forever in a completely unexpected way, that affects anyone, but a child in particular, so profoundly. And so we have to think about, okay, what's her attachment style? And so attachment style is kind of being how you form attachments with the people around you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that, and it's funny, I actually made a video about Akechi from Persona 5, and he has a similar attachment style. But she has a disorganized attachment style because of this.
What's that about?
I'm glad you asked, because a disorganized attachment style is probably the most severe form of insecure attachment, okay? And it's a lot of times caused by abuse or trauma in childhood.
Sounds
and so
applicable.
it typically comes from, let's say, a parent or anyone else, like a grandparent, whoever's close to the individual who helped raise them, offers really kind of inconsistent, like, emotional support. So while it was consistent for a very long time, suddenly that all got flipped on its head when they just decided they loathed her and just started abusing her. And can we just say, when they grabbed her hair, when it looked like they were gonna pat her head?
Yeah, and her little face lit up. She was so excited that she thought she was going to get a pat on the head and they'd welcome her back. And instead they just grab her hair. And then her doll just falls apart in that moment. Ugh.
So, like, her parents are her safe space in this moment, right?
Mm-hmm.
She really only has attachments with her parents. Maybe she has some friends. Maybe she has, like, an uncle she likes. Probably not. It's the Soma family. But her parents are her safe spot in this moment. They are the ones who take care of her. They are the ones who provide her security. So, to add another layer of psychology to this, if you look at choice theory, okay, humans have 5 basic human needs, okay?
Okay.
So it's love, security, freedom, fun, and survival.
Oh, I remember studying this.
Yeah, and so now she's having to choose, because this theory is all about you choose all of your behaviors to get these 5 needs, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's at an impasse. She either has to survive by avoiding her parents because they are causing her physical abuse, but now she can't get the need of love fulfilled by them. And so she's at an impasse because she can't get both of those needs met. And so that creates a lot of internal conflict. And that moving back and forth between, okay, I need to belong, I need to feel loved and connect with others, I need to connect with my parents, and the need to survive and protect yourself are constantly at odds now. And a lot of times that causes a lot of fear, anxiety, that coupled with the operating under the idea that she has PTSD exacerbates that issue. With all of this, like, developmental theory in mind, it makes me feel so bad for Reen, because it all makes sense in the context of all these different theories. And she is honestly the most tragic character that we have encountered so far.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. And knowing all of the theories behind it, like, I have always known that Takaya wanted to write Fruits Basket about relationships, and not necessarily romantic ones, but just how people interact with one another and trauma and things like that. That's what the whole point. I'm pretty sure I read an interview about that. That Takaya,
Mm.
at first it wasn't about the zodiac. There wasn't like, oh, they turned into animals. It was just about people interacting with one another in any other form of shoujo. But in hers, it would be a lot deeper and the connections were deeper. And I always thought that was just due to her having such a very good understanding of psychology and human nature.
Mm-hmm.
Because she really shows it. I mean,
Yeah.
you can go through the DSM and just point out thing after thing, and characters will show multiple traits. And it's as if she has a different version. What do they use that isn't the DSM? They use a different thing in other countries?
They have the DSM over there. Like, it's published in Japanese, right?
Okay.
But I think that the more standardized version is the International Classification of Diseases. So the ICD, which is on its 10th revision right now. So I think that's more commonly used in Japan. Don't quote me on that. I do believe they have both, though, and I think both are taught.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. But it's almost like she looked through it and she was just like, okay, I'm writing a character who went through trauma. How do I show that? Because I know, like, I work in the game industry and I see how people make video games. And the developers will go through and they'll research extensively how to illustrate something properly. And they'll be like, okay, so we're creating a character who has experienced racism. What does that look like? What would that do to you? And so they research it extensively and then illustrate that in the game so that you can see that. So I fully believe that Takaya, like, she's a fantastic writer, and I know that fantastic writers look up how to make their source material better. So
yeah,
10 out of 10,
so,
I love her for doing that.
And so I think that this story is so human, and probably the most human and one of the best written stories that actually takes reality and how the human experience is into account, which I think is so dope.
Right? I told you would get this from Fruits Basket because I know that this is something that you would love, and you just have to get past the part where it's like they turn into animals first to like get here.
I love that part, to be fair. I love that part, to be fair. I mean, I love this part, of course, too, but don't be dissing on them turning into animals. I love that. It's so fun.
It too. I don't know.
It's so fun. No. Shh. Where do we pick up from there?
Symbolism.
Tohru sees her and hugs her, and then symbolism.
Yes. Okay. So I briefly talked about the doll, but when we watched the episode, we were talking about like the doll and what does it symbolize and what we think. And so we're thinking that the doll symbolizes Reen's innocence. Because the doll sits there and it watches the play. And the play goes on, and it's her and her parents living their daily wonderful lives until, Reen asks why they're always happy if they ever feel sad, and everything falls apart. And the stage darkens, the doll is still there in its little chair. Reen always carries this doll around. She's a child. She has her innocence. And her and her doll go to her parents' bedroom door, and she knocks and asks if things can go back to normal. She asks whatever she asks. I forget. But she wants to be comforted, basically. And her parents, like we had talked before, her dad with the hand, like he's going to pat her head, and then he grabs her hair. And in that moment, the doll breaks. And it's like her innocence. Like before, she still had hope that things could go back to normal and that things were going to be okay. And then they're not. And that's when her whole world shatters. That's when her doll falls apart. That's when her being a child isn't happening anymore. And when you don't have parents that parent you and that help you grow to become a great young adult and then go on to adulthood, do all the things that parents are supposed to do, help you grow, then you have to do it for yourself. And that really breaks your innocence when you have to parent yourself. And you have to pray before you open the door and hope that the people who are supposed to be protecting you and loving you will treat you nicely that day.
Yeah.
So,
it's that survival versus love.
Yeah. And then they show the doll again when Rin is talking to Haru, and she realizes that she's in love with him, and the doll just keeps multiplying and multiplying. And it's really funny because this also happens when she loses control of herself, she had said, where she wants to sleep with Haru. And she says, like, I know it's wrong, but I loved him too much. And that's when people usually associate, like, the loss of innocence, which I'm saying in air quotes, is when you have sex for the first time. So that's why we think it has to do with innocence. But yay, symbolism.
Yay.
Yay. This episode hurts me.
We did skip over something that I think is super big, though.
Tell me.
So, when she was with her parents right before the big break, she's talking to someone, right?
Okay.
I think that person that she's talking to is Ren.
Oh, you mean, like, really briefly when
they flash... like that like 1 second. She's like, yeah, I love my mommy and daddy, or whatever she said, you know?
Okay.
And so that person has really long black hair, okay?
Okay.
And so, okay, we cut to her talking to Akito after her and Haru lose their innocence, right? And so Akito said something really weird here that it was very not Akito-like. He said, your hair is so repulsive, okay?
Okay.
So at this point, we're operating under the assumption that Akito comes from a terrible family life. That makes sense with choice theory, because every action is to fulfill those 5 needs that I mentioned earlier, right? And so I think that Akito has just very maladaptive ways of finding that love. He finds the love by forcing everyone to let him crawl all over them, right?
Okay.
He finds that power by flexing and literally demolishing anyone who gets in his way, you know? And so I think that Akito is the antagonist. I don't think that he's the only character that Takaya was like, I'm not gonna humanize him. I think that he comes from trauma as well. I think that his parents are the worst of the worst in terms of Zodiac parents. Because in essence, he's God, but he's in the Zodiac. He's cursed just like everyone else. And so, to bring this full circle, Rin isn't her name, right? It's a Suzu. Or do they call her a Suzu? Rin is not her name. That's a nickname.
Yeah. And people like Kagura or like Tohru, I think even Yuki in one scene, they call her a Suzu.
Yeah. And so Rin is like a small, when I think of like the eye, I think small, you know? So like she's like a small Ren. And so I do think that Ren, like I've said before, is either his mother. I thought she might have been his grandma, but I don't think that anymore. She seems too young, especially with the black hair. So it's either his mom or his sister. And I think he loathes her. I think he hates his mother more than anyone on this earth. And so because they have similar looking hair, which they explicitly showed us, I think that's why because we've seen him hate a lot of people, but like, look at how he treated Kisa when literally the exact same situation happened, you know? He put her in the hospital, he beat her up, but it wasn't to this degree, you know?
Yeah, he didn't
what happened
throw
to
Kisa out of a window.
Yeah. What happened to Hatori was a complete accident that he's just smug about now. Like, he didn't intend to take out Hatori's eye. He was trying to get to Kana.
Yeah.
But this is the first time in the most brutal display of Akito just, like, annihilating someone. So I feel like Rin reminds him of his mother-sister thing, whatever it is. And that's why he dislikes her so much more than anyone else. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. you've been boiling on this for a while, so I can tell that you're really thinking about it. Because this has been your thing ever since Ren first got mentioned during the beach arc.
Yes. Because I feel like I feel like Ren is the actual family head. I think that Akito's just the kid who is like, I'm family head, I'm God. I don't think he's the one pulling the strings of this operation. He just thinks he is. And Ren is the actual person, like, puppeteering everything going on, you know? But I think it's in Ren's interest to keep the curse, because that keeps them, if they are in power with quote-unquote God, that keeps them in the family head position. You know? Yeah. But I also think that led to severe neglect, abuse, trauma of Akito, but I don't think anyone is inherently evil. I mean, to be fair, I work with adjudicated youth who have done questionable things, but I work with them on a daily basis, and saying that anyone is bad or evil is just, that rubs me the wrong way. And so I don't think that Akito is this one-dimensional, evil character. I think we're gonna get a lot more.
I hope so.
Same.
I'm ready. Give me all of the story. Bring me to season 3 right now. But
yeah.
Anyways, to your theory, I think it's really good. I don't know. You're really sad on this. Holy crap.
Akito's like the only character I ruminate over, like, I know. Constantly.
Yeah. Like, we'll be on the phone and he'll just be like, I still don't get it.
I think Akito is the worst receiver of trauma in this show.
Okay.
But
holy crap. Okay. Anywho, so then, gosh, let's just cut back with Tohru. So Tohru is hugging Rin, which I do really like, because Tohru, as we've seen time and time again, keeps being associated with, like, being a mom, like with Kisa, and with the kiddos at the beach arc when she puts the blanket over them.
And quite literally, Yuki, when they gave that parallel that we talked about.
Oh, yeah, and that one too. And now there's another parallel with Tohru being a mom, where Rin associates Tohru with being her mom, and sure, that sends her into a dissociative episode, but I do have hopes that things
they'll actually be friends.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
That would be nice. Maybe we'll see a softer side of Rin.
I mean, we do see her be kind of soft with Haru.
Oh my god, she's so soft with Haru, which we've talked a lot about the trauma of this episode. We did not talk about how cute their relationship is, though.
Yeah, let's just go off about that, because holy crap, every single scene that they're in, you see that soft side of Rin and how her eyes relax, and she looks like just a cute schoolgirl.
Yes, and I totally did not think we would ever see that. I don't know. I had, like I said at the beginning of the episode, I really had no interest in Rin up until now. Like, I don't know. I just didn't care. But, I don't know. Seeing how dynamic her character is and how many layers there are to it, like, I'm in. I like Rin now. Or Isuzu. Just seeing those slice of life moments with her and Haru, seeing that he has become her only support system, I thought was really kind of sweet, because she needs, more than anything, a positive support system that's not manipulative, that's not trying to get something from her, just someone who wants to support her. And that's what Haru is, and he is such a good cowboy.
He is. Haru really is just such a sweet person that truly wants the best for people, and it's almost like he keeps seeking out people who really, really need a support system. We had Yuki at first, then he ends up befriending Rin and
Kisa.
getting close with her, and then Kisa eventually whenever she goes mute. So he just keeps seeking them out, and it's almost like he finds people who are similar to Yuki for him.
Yeah.
Where they shut themselves off from the world. And he's like, no, I want you to be okay. I want to be helpful to you. And I want to make you feel better. And I love Haru for that.
It's almost like he's excessively paying his debt to Yuki forward.
Yeah.
Because he thanks Yuki for, like, getting him out of his, like, bad headspace, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of just being angry all the time. And, like, setting him free. And I almost feel like he wants to set everyone free. I feel like that's almost why he hangs with Momiji so much, too. Obviously, they're the same age, but, like, Momiji's got a similar thing going on. He just wants what's best for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And another person who wants the best for everyone is Kazuma. And I really compare Hatsuharu with Kazuma so much. They're so similar.
Best dad.
Because at first, Kazuma, he was this snot-nosed kid that really didn't understand what was going on. And he insulted his grandfather, who was the cat. And he has been trying to pay that forward for the rest of his life with Kyo. And then feeling bad about it too. Like, I shouldn't just be doing this because my grandfather was the cat. I truly do love Kyo. He's a great son. And I love him so much. And then he keeps becoming this father figure for people in the Zodiac. And so many people keep going to his place to go study martial arts. Which, like, I'm sure that they're practicing martial arts. But how come every single Soma kid loves martial arts? Why did they all take up crafting? I'm sure there's someone who's really great who does crafting, or maybe not so great, but is really good at crafting, and they could have done that, or they could have done something with instruments, or, you know, but a lot of them, like Kagura, Kyo, Yuki studied under Kazuma, like, they all of these broken kids keep going to Kazuma because he's such a great person for them to go see. And he keeps, I don't know, he keeps fighting for them. Especially with Rin when she was in the hospital. And it hurts. He's such a good dad.
Yeah. He is such a good dad. And I think that these episodes, which show the dark side of a lot of people in their past, also show the best in a lot of characters. Have you noticed that tendency? Like, Yuki in the parent-teacher conference episode, which was a really dark moment for him, we see the best in Ayame. We see the best in Shigure for telling Ayame, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's always kind of subtle, but they always do that. Anytime something really awful is happening, they show the best in someone just trying to help. A lot of times it's Tohru.
Yeah. And even though they all have their own struggles, they can still lift each other up. And I really like that.
I don't know. This show is just really good.
Yeah.
But then we cut to the end. Are we skipping over anything?
I mean, we kind of touched on everything. Was there something specific from the hospital scene that you wanted to point out? I only briefly mentioned that one.
I thought it was really just distressing. I think that really highlighted her relationship with her parents. That even though she was scared of them, she took all of the blame for everything that they did. Mm-hmm. And she just wanted their love more than anything, even though she was terrified of them. And that really hurts. And the horror stuff, obviously, of him just screaming at them. I wish Kazuma would have just let him beat them to a pulp in that moment.
Yeah, this tiny Haru just going at him.
Oh, he would have gone dark. He would have...
Yeah.
He would have annihilated them. But other than that, I don't know, Kazuma being best dad. And then I think that's it for the hospital scene. And then the only thing we haven't talked about is Tohru taking her up to the bed, which I thought was just sad.
Yeah, and she ends it by saying, I'm okay with having nothing in the end.
Yeah. Oh.
And the next episode preview is Rin, and she's saying there's no way, none. So give me your predictions for next episode.
I have no... I don't know. Everything I knew about Rin was addressed. I don't know what I could predict next episode to be. No way. Maybe it's no way that she's going to stop trying to break the curse. And maybe Shigeru's like, you need to stop. Like, because he cares about her, like I said earlier. I believe that. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to try and stop her from breaking the curse. Or maybe Haru is. And she's like, there's no way. Like, there's zero chance of that happening.
Okay.
But that's my best guess.
I am very excited for the next one. There's one panel that I'm real hyped for. And I was requested to start leaving comments for manga readers. Like, just a comment that you could find in the comment section below. So I'll mark it with a little spoiler tag, as you should with all of your spoilery comments. And... and I'll have it down there below, and I'll let you know which panel I'm hyped for, and we can talk about spoilery things under my comment if you want to, and just have a grand old time. So if you want to know my thoughts about his theories, I'll throw them all down there too, and we'll just have a grand old time talking about the meta.
Is that the place where I'll get made fun of?
You won't. Well. No, I'm kidding. If you got anything wrong, maybe we'll be like, ooh, yikes. But if you got anything right, maybe we'll be like, wow, what the heck?
I didn't mean that in like an aggressive way, but just like oh my god, did you hear what he said?
Oh, no. No one will be rude to you, and if they are, I'll delete the comments. Don't be mean to him.
Well, I can't even see them. You can be mean. It's fine. I won't see, as long as there's a spoiler tag. It's fine. I have thick skin. Oh. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about with the episode?
I'm all good.
All right. Well, that'll do it for today's video, guys. That was a lot.
Yep.
And so, if you need a break after that episode, go get a snack. Go treat yourself. But as always, if you like this video, you want to see more content like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss another upload. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below, and why not even share in this video wherever you like sharing things, whether that's Twitter, Discord, WhatsApp, or anywhere else. As always, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, a fantastic rest of your week, and why not even a fantastic rest of your month. And we will see you in the next video. Later.
See ya.